Gandhar, Gandhar returns to the spiritual world. Text 9 through 16. While Prabhuji, while Indradyumna Maharaj was engaged in ecstatic meditation, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the great sage Aksati Muni arrived there, surrounded by his disciple. When the Muni saw that Maharaj Indradyumna who was sitting in a scheduled place, remained silent and did not follow the etiquette of offering him respect, he was very angry. Text 10. Uh, Aksati Muni then spoke this curse against the king. The king, Indradyumna, is not at all gentle. Being low and uneducated, he had insulted a Brahmana. May he therefore enter the region of darkness and receive the dumb body of an elephant. Text 11 and 12. Sukadev Goswami continued, My dear king, after Aksati Muni had thus cursed King Indradyumna, the Muni left this place along with his disciple. Since the king was a devotee, he accepted Aksati Muni's curse as welcomed because it was the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although in his next life he got the body of an elephant, because of devotional service, he remembered how to worship and offer prayers to the Lord. Text 13. Upon delivering the king of the elephant from the clutches of the crocodile and from material existence, which resembled a crocodile, the Lord awarded him the status of Supriya Muni. In, in the presence of Gandharvas, the Siddhas, and other demigods who were praising the Lord for his wonderful transcendental activities, the Lord, sitting on the back of his carrier Garuda, returned to his all wonderful abode and took Gajanan with him. Text 14. My dear King Parikshit, I have now described the wonderful power of Krishna as displayed when the Lord delivers the king of the elephant, O best of the Kur dynasty. Those who hear this narration becomes fit to be prominent to the higher planetary system. Simply because of hearing this narration, they gain a reputation as devotees. They are unaffected by the contamination of Kali Yuga and they never see bad dreams. Text 15. Therefore, after getting up from the bed in the morning, those who desire their own welfare, especially the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas, and in particular the Brahmana Vaishnavas, should chant this narration as it is without deviation to counteract the trouble of bad dreams. Text 16. O best of the Crook dynasty, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul of everyone, being thus pleased, addressed Gajanan in the presence of everybody there. He spoke the following blessings. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section slokas translation. Thank you, Sundarana Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share a few points from Srila Prabhupada's purports for today's session. And thank you all for joining. We'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakya Chakshurunmilitam Nena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschaptadeshatarani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 4. Gajendra returns to the spiritual world from slokas 9 to 16. So just to give a big background, so in the last chapter we heard, of course we are in the section of Gajendra Moksha. So in the last chapter we heard how Gajendra was attacked by a crocodile and he was unable to save from that danger by himself. Of course, all his friends and family members also tried to uh, save from that danger, but they were also not able to do that. So then Gajendra thought for a while, and then he remembered the prayers that he regularly recited in his previous life as King Indradyumna. So then he started offering those prayers, those wonderful prayers we heard, all those wonderful prayers. The last chapter, Gajendra mentioning that Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, he is the original person, is the root cause of this cosmic manifestation, and is eternally situated in the spiritual world. He is the controller of everything, and he is worshipped by the Pancharatri process. So, like that, many wonderful prayers Gajendra offered to the Supreme Lord. And also in the end of the chapter, it is mentioned that Gajendra offered all these prayers to the Supreme Lord. So, not to any demigods. So, due to that, so none of the demigods appeared in front of Gajendra, even Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. So, rather, the Supreme Lord Vishnu seated on Garuda, so he personally appeared before him. And Gajendra, seeing Supreme Lord Vishnu, so he lifted his trunk and offered obeisances to the Lord. Then Lord immediately pulled Gajendra out of the water along with the crocodile, which captured Gajendra's leg. So then we saw the Lord killed crocodile and rescued Gajendra. So in this chapter, we hear the previous births of Gajendra and the crocodile. So in the last session, we heard from His Grace Sundarananda Prabhu about the previous birth of crocodile. This crocodile is one of the king in the Gandharva planet, and his name is Huhu. And one time, this king Huhu, along with many women, so he's enjoying in the water, and while enjoying, he also pulled the leg of one of the Rishi, Devala Rishi, who was also taking bath in that water. And then the sage became very angry and he immediately cursed this king Uhu to become a crocodile. Then coming into his senses, the king Uhu became very sorry and he begged forgiveness from the sage. Of course, these sages are very compassionate. So the sage gave him a benediction that he will be freed when Gajendra was delivered by the Supreme Lord. So, due to that benediction, Krishna fulfilled that benediction by relieving this king Huhu from the body of the crocodile. And while he was also delivering Gajendra from the clutches of this crocodile. And then we also, the previous birth of Gajendra also started in the last session. So, where we heard that Gajendra in his previous life is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. And his name was Indradyumna. And he is a king. And following the Vedic principles, he retired from the family life and constructed a small cottage in the Malayachala hills. And he always worshipped Krishna, the Supreme Lord, in silence. So, and today we'll continue from there. So, what happened when he was worshipping the Supreme Lord um, in silence? So, we see in this sloka, ninth sloka, that Agastya Muni came to Indradyumna Maharaj's cottage, Samagamat. So, he arrived there. So, and he surrounded by many disciples, Shishyagana. So, and at that time, Indradyumna Maharaj is engaged in ecstatic meditation, upasinam. And also he remained silent, tushinam. Like, he's sitting in a secluded place and remained silent. So Agastya Muni seeing that he felt that king did not follow the etiquette of offering him a guest reception. akritarhana adikam. So Prabhupada answered, without offering a respectable reception. And due to that, the sage became very angry. So, and we heard in the last session also, like Devala Rishi also became angry. Of course, this king who behaved mischievously with Devala Rishi, so he cursed it. But in the last session, Sundarana Prabhu nicely summarized that when exalted personalities curses, actually they are benedictions only. So externally it may appear unfavorable, but as the time progress, they could see that it is a benediction. So that's why when a devotee curses someone, that person will be benefited. Or when somebody curses a devotee also, Krishna protects them and he uplifts them to a higher level. So we see in this case also King Indradyumna, though he was cursed by Agastya Muni, externally it may look like a very unfavorable, like, taking the life of Gajendra. But as we see that, after the life of Gajendra, King Indradyumna went back home, back to Godhead. Just one life. That's it. So he went back home, back to Godhead. So similarly, there are several examples also. Like yesterday, Prabhuji gave another example, like Narad Muni. So he cursed the Kubera sons um, because of their attitude. But externally, it appears to be a curse, which is unfavorable. But due to the curse, of course, Narada Muni cursed them compassionately so that they can be benefited. So Kuvera's sons, they were able to see Krishna's childhood pastimes, and due to that, they became a great devotees. So the great benediction for those Kuvera's sons, Nal Kuvera and Manikriva. So similarly, we see that Chitraketu Maharaj also was cursed by Mother Parvati Devi. But Krishna protected Chitraketu Maharaj, and after he became as a Vritasura, as a demon, so after that life he went back home, back to Godhead. So he appeared and then he fought with Indra. So not much time, like he went back home, back to Godhead. So externally it may look like a very unfavorable situation, but as the time progresses, we see that that is actually Krishna protects the devotees and he helps them, in uplifts them, and they go back home, back to Godhead after that life. So it is a great benediction to the devotees because Krishna always protects them. Of course, Krishna also teaches many lessons through these scriptures, using the great personalities or his close associates. How strong are these anardasas, and how we should be very careful not to be attacked by these angerness or lust, greed, all those things. So Krishna uses all these great personalities to show that how a sadhaka to be cautious. So we should not think that these saintly personalities cursing, that they are not in an appropriate level like that. So we should learn from these pastimes. So how to overcome, or how we should train ourselves so that we can overcome these things. So here we see that Agastya Muni, seeing that Indradyumna Maharaj not offering a reception, so he became angry. But of course, Indradyumna Maharaj was not at fault because he was in meditation, and he didn't notice that Agastya Muni's arrival, all those kind of things. So similarly, in this material world also, there could be some people where when they when they were neglected by someone, or when they are passing by and someone whom they know that they see them and they didn't wish them, like they didn't say Hari Bol or Hi. So one may become angry due to the false ego, or if they are not invited to some program where somebody whom they know are doing it, like those kind of things. So Krishna is teaching through these pastimes that we should overcome those kind of unnecessary anger, because it's not good. And Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita that the unnecessary anger actually leads to the hellish planet. Trividam Narakasyedam. So there are three gates to the hellish, and one of them is Krodha, Kama, Krodhas, Tata, Lobhas. So lust, anger, greed. So these are three gateways to the hellish planet. So we should be very careful and cautious. Not only that, the dwaram nasnam atmanaha. So they will degrade the soul. So, so it's not good for the um, individual person to be attacked by this lust, anger, greed like that. So that's why Krishna suggests tasmadeta trayam tejet. So we should try to overcome from these things. And not only that, these unnecessary anger will also sometimes put us in danger, because when there is a uncontrolled anger, then Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that we lose intelligence. So if we lose intelligence, then the power of discrimination will go away, and then the decisions or the actions that we perform while we are in uncontrolled anger will bring only danger or destruction. So we should be very cautious. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Krodhat bhavati sammoha. So when there is uncontrolled anger, then there is a bewilderment of memory. So due to that, buddhi nasha. So intelligence will go away. So that's why we should be very careful. Sometime back, I saw the one WhatsApp video where somebody was sharing that, one father, so he got a car, and he was so much attached to that car. He was keeping that car in very good condition and very neat and clean like that. And one day his daughter was scratching on that car, and seeing that, he became very angry. And there is a iron rod nearby him, so he took that and he hit it on the hand of his daughter. And then there is a blood came out from that daughter's hand. Then he realized what mistake he did. So he immediately took the daughter to the hospital, but it is too late. The doctor mentioned that so due to the that hit of the iron rod, so the nerves broke in her hand, and due to that, hand will not function as it used to be. So then the father felt very unhappy, sad, and for the activity what he has done due to the uncontrolled anger. So when one is an uncontrolled anger, it is greater chances that they will perform the actions which cause the destruction or damage to them only. So that's why we should be very careful. Of course, anger is required, but it should be how much it is required. It should be that much only. Like as a parent, one may show anger just to keep their kids in a correct manner, or a king should show the anger towards the criminals and punish them. So it's only to punish them, not the uncontrolled anger like that. So, and of course, most important is to overcome this anger, we should practice our sadhana sincerely. So then Krishna can help us to overcome from these anarthas, lust, anger, greed like that. So we see in the pastime of Vishwamitra Mahamuni, like, when he started performing tapasya, so initially he was attacked by lust, and then he continued. Of course, he did not stop, even though sometime he was attacked by the lust. Then he came back and continued his sadhana, and then he was attacked by anger like that. But he continued the sadhana, and at the end, he was able to achieve the success. So if we continue our sadhana sincerely, even though here and there, if we are attacked by small, small things, but if we continue our sadhana sincerely, chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then we'll be able to overcome these anarthas. Because after the Bhajana Kriya, anartha nivritti happens. So all our anarthas will go away. So in the next sloka, we see that Agastha Muni cursed King Indradyumna. And before cursing, he is saying that King Indradyumna is not at all gentle, asadu. And he is also saying that he is a degraded soul, duratma. And also is akrita, without education. And then he is saying that he felt that he is insulted him. So, Vipravamanata, like he insulted a Brahmana. So that's why he cursed King Indradyumna to receive the dull, dumb body of an elephant. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the reason why he cursed, Agasthamani cursed in this way, that the elephant is very strong and it has a big body and it eats a lot and it also works very hard, but its intelligence is very less compared to the its size and strength. So because of that, even though it has greater strength, sometimes we see that some elephants they work as a menial servant uh, under a human being. So Agasthamani thought that it is wise to curse this king to become an elephant, so that the powerful king will become an elephant. Uh, and then and Prabhupada mentions that similarly, as it was mentioned earlier, so indirectly it is a benediction to Indradumna Maharaj. So externally it appears to be a curse and unfavorable, but indirectly it is a benediction. Because King Indradumna Maharaj, due to this curse, he ended all his sinful reactions in his previous lives. So we see that in the upcoming slokas also he is promoted to spiritual world. He went back home, back to Godhead after the this Gajendra's life. um, in the next sloka, Sukadeva Goswami is continuing that. So Agasthamani, thus cursed King Indradumni, he left the place along with that his disciples. And then we see that king, since the king was a devotee, he accepted Agasthamani's curse as a welcome, because he understood that it is the desire of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, although in his next life he got the body of an elephant, because of his past devotional service, he remembered how to worship and offer prayers to the Lord. And Prabhupada mentions that this is the unique position of the devotee. So here we see that King Indradyumna, it is not his fault. Still, Agasthyamuni cursed. So even though he was cursed, he accepted and he welcomed that as a desire of the Supreme Lord. Because a devotee understands that nothing can happen without the Supreme Lord. So here the same thing, even in the past time of Parikshit Maharaj, like Parikshit Maharaj also accepted the curse of Samika Mahamuni's son, that Parikshit Maharaj will die in 7 days by the bite of Takshaka snake bird. So he accepted that as a will of the Supreme Lord. So that is the unique position of the devotee. So that's why since the devotees accept the reversals as the blessings of the Supreme Lord, Tattenu Kampam Susimakshamanaha, so they are eligible to go back home, back to God. So Prabhupada mentions that so when one accepts the reversals as the blessings of the Supreme Lord, and even in that reversal situations, he continues his sadhana without any hindrance. So then Krishna will take care of him. So Krishna will take care of such a devotees and he will give the liberation. So the devotee will come back to Godhead. Because Krishna, when a devotee is cursed and he was put into an unfavorable situation, Krishna will remove all his past sinful reactions because he has performed the devotion service. Of course, Lord Brahma also mentions in his prayers that karmani nirdhati chakintu bhakti bhajam. So when one performs bhakti yoga, so then all his past sinful reactions will be wiped out. So due to that, uh, Krishna not only protects, not only removes all their sinful reactions, but he will give liberation. They will go back home, back to Godhead. So in the next sloka, we hear that upon delivering the king of the elephants from the clutches of the crocodile and from material existence, which resembles a crocodile, so the Lord awarded him the status of Sarupya Mukti. So, and we have 5 types of liberations: Sayujya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Salokya Mukti, Saristya Mukti, and Samipya Mukti. So, Prabhupada mentions that devotees are okay, they don't like to take or they doesn't prefer to take the Sayujya Mukti. Sayujya Mukti means merging into the Brahman effulgence. Generally, the impersonalists they practice a process where they can go and merge into the Brahma Jyoti. But devotees, they would like to be with the Supreme Lord. So that's why they prefer to be, of course, pure devotees, they don't desire anything, but Krishna awards liberation to them. So one of the four types of liberation, like Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti means the devotee will get a similar form of the Supreme Lord. And there is a Salokya Mukti where the devotee will reside in the spiritual world in the same planet as the Supreme Lord stays. And Sarishti Mukti, they will get a similar opulence as the Supreme Lord. And Samipya Mukti, where the devotee stays very closer to the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada points that the impersonalists are satisfied with the merging into the Brahman effulgence. But the devotees, they would like to be with the Supreme Lord and continue their service to the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada also says that though the impersonalist, they get the Sayujya Mukti, merging into the Brahman effulgence, because they have not taken shelter at the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, so they will fall down again into this material world. And Prabhupada quotes at Bhagavatam sloka that Aruhya Kruchena Parampadam Tata Patanti Ado Anandrita Ismat Angraya, because they have not taken shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Angraya. So even though they are elevated to the Brahma Jyotis, merging into Brahma Jyoti, but they will fall down. So of course, after they fall down, so they try to serve the poor people, like opening hospitals or educational institutes like that. They perform like that kind of charitable work. But devotees, they receive, they go back home, back to Godhead, where the Supreme Lord resides, and they continue their services. And here we see that in the presence of Gandharva, Siddhas, demigods, so the Lord sitting back on his carrier, Garuda. So he went back home, back to his spiritual world. And along with that, he also took Gajendra with him. So we see that King Indradimno, though he was cursed to become as elephant, after the life of this elephant, he went back home, back to Godhead. So it is actually a benediction to King Indradimna, that curse which was given by Agastya Muni. So in the next sloka, Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that so he has describes this wonderful power of Krishna, and he also gives the Palaspati. Whoever hears this narration will become fit to be promoted to the higher planet systems. So Swargyam, so he will be promoted to the higher planet system. And simply because of hearing this narration, so they gain a reputation as the devotees, SSM. And also they are unaffected by the contamination of Kali Yuga, Kali Kalma Shapaham. So they will not be affected by. So that's why this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is recommended in this Kali Yuga, so that Kali Kalma Shanashanam. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Iti Shodashakanamnam, Nataro Parataro Payo, Sarva Shastra, something like that. Kali Kalma Shanashanam. Forgot that. So when we chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we'll be unaffected by the contamination of Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga there are so many faults, Kalir Doshe Niderajan. So due to that, so one may be disturbed, because in Kali Yuga people are Manda, Sumanda Mandayo, Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Upatrita. They're always disturbed. And they're always suffering. So due to the contamination of Kali Yuga, or due to the many faults it. But when one takes up this process of Krishna consciousness and chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so they will not be unaffected. They will be unaffected by the contamination of Kali Yuga, and will be saved from all the dangers. And also they never see the bad dreams, Dushwapna, so bad dreams. And Prabhupada mentions in the next sloka purport also that why the bad dreams comes. because of the sinful reactions. So if somebody is performing sinful activities, then they will see the bad dreams. So in the next sloka, we see that Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that so after getting up from bed in the morning, those who desire their own welfare, especially the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and in particular the Brahmana Vaishnas, should chant this narration as it is, without deviation. So that way will counteract the troubles of the bad dreams. Prabhupada mentions 2 points here. So one is one should chant this narration without deviation. Yata anukirtayanti. So one should not change this narration however they want it. So not through the mental speculation, change this narration and give a different interpretation like that. So instead we should chant this narration as it is. And also it will counteract the troubles of bad dreams. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that if somebody is performing sinful activities, they will see the bad dreams. Or if we have a sinful reactions activity in our account, then we will go through that bad dreams also. So that's why when we take up this process of Krishna consciousness, so we'll be able to counteract the troubles of the bad dreams. And Prabhupada mentions that even sometimes the elevated personalities also see the bad dreams because they accept disciples who has a sinful reactions. So when they accept a disciple, they also accept those sinful reactions of that disciple, and due to that they might go through the bad dreams. But because of their strong sadhana, they will counteract those bad dreams. But once one become one take the shelter of a guru, so that disciple should try to avoid to perform any sinful reactions, because that would also cause challenges to the spiritual master. So one should be very cautious. So in the last sloka, we see that Parikshit Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that the Supreme Lord, the super soul of everyone, thus please address the Gajendra in the presence of everyone, and he started speaking it. So we will see in the next session the what Supreme Lord mentioned to Gajendra in the presence of everyone. So I'll pause it here. Thank you all very much for joining and giving this opportunity. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.